Yo, what is up guys? It's me exactly back bringing some more daily NBA news and highlights. As always, you guys are the real MVPs, and once again, just a disclosure, there is construction going on outside again. So if you hear any hammering or music blasting or people talking, you know why. But anyways, let's just get into everything that is going on in the NBA. But first, a quick word about this video's sponsor, athleticcases.com. Basketball, baseball, football, or soccer, you can now rock your favorite player on the back of your phone. Use the promo code ZachLee for 10% off. Link is in the description box below. But now with that out the way, on to the video. Let's go. We've talked about Deandre Aiden a couple of times recently, and how it's assumed that he's going to be the #1 pick of the NBA draft. The Suns have pretty much already come out and said that they're looking to take a dominant center with the #1 pick, and Deandre Aiden has said that he would love to go to Phoenix to try and become the next Shaq and Kobe with Devin Booker. So we've talked about him. However, even though he just might be the #1 pick of the draft, that doesn't necessarily mean that he will be the best player of this NBA draft. Another guy who's supposed to have a lot of potential is Luka Doncic, the 19-year-old whiz kid out of Slovenia. And I know you've all heard this name already. The kid has been raved about for a couple of years now. Articles claiming that we've never seen a prospect like him before. And NBA All-Star Goran Dragic even vouches for Doncic, saying that he's going to be one of the best in the world.
He's a born winner, so, you know, no, I'm not kidding. You know, he already have a lot of trophy medals, and I'm happy for him. And mark my words, he's gonna be one of the best in the whole world.
So the kid has a lot of hype around him already, and well, he's trying to hype himself up even more now, as he just said that he thinks of himself like another Ben Simmons. He says he likes the pace and play and the prevalence of the pick and roll. His favorite players are LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie Irving, but he's enjoyed watching Ben Simmons. Quote, I think we are like similar, you know? He can play point guard, he can play forward, he can play a lot of stuff like LeBron. So that's what Doncic had to say, and to be honest, he is supposed to fit that Ben Simmons, LeBron James type of mold, where he has the build of a small forward or a power forward, but is primarily a playmaker, likes to play point guard. They can also make plays for himself too, and he's already supposed to be a better shooter than Ben Simmons, at least over there in Europe. How that will translate to the NBA, since the three-point line is further out here, is yet to be seen, but I don't have any doubts that he will adjust nicely to the NBA. As for him coming out and saying that he's kind of like Ben Simmons, that's a bold thing to do, since even though Ben Simmons, this is his first year of actually playing in the NBA himself, he's already proven to be an elite player in the league. So a rookie saying that he's like another elite player, that puts a lot of pressure on them to live up to those standards. But it is a good comparison overall. Personally, I do not expect Doncic to come to the NBA next year and do what Ben Simmons is doing this year, put up 17 to 18 points per game, 8 assists, 8 rebounds per game. That would be unreasonably high expectations to place upon a rookie. So while I might like the comparisons to a Ben Simmons or LeBron James type of player, it's just a comparison. It's not saying that he is Ben Simmons or LeBron James. He just fits the mold a little. And speaking of LeBron James, we just got a little update on LeBron James and his free agency situation. Now this one is different because it's not speculation, it's not from the media, it's not from the analysts, it's not from any type of article. It is from an article, but the article is from LeBron James himself, meaning that this is legit, but it's also not much. As when LeBron James was asked about free agency yesterday and if he has any idea of what he's going to do and what could influence his decision this summer, well, he gave a pretty typical LeBron James answer. Quote, I don't think like that. I'm too much of a guy that's stuck in the moment. I don't do too much of that. My family is all that matters. I want to continue and win at the highest level because I know I can still do that as an individual. And then my family is what's most important to me, more than anything. Like I said, this was a very typical LeBron James answer when it comes to responding to questions about free agency, at least. Because yes, he answered the question, but he also didn't say much either, saying that he really hasn't thought about it yet and that winning and his family are what's most important to him. Look, this is stuff that we already knew, and it doesn't eliminate the potential list of suitors that he's going to have this season, since who knows what his family wants and what will make them happy. And also when it comes to the whole winning thing, he could go to 25 out of the 30 teams in the NBA and immediately turn them into championship contenders. Pause. Hold up, pump your brakes, Josh Hart. Yo, D Mitch is a great young player. You could even drop the young clause if you want and just say that he's a great player because he is, but pump you breaks Josh Hart. The dude just said that he belongs in the same conversation as LeBron James and James Harden. Don is very crafty. I think that's the biggest thing with him. You don't realize how crafty he is. He's a top offensive talent in the league. He's proven that. He's had 40-point games. He's the leading scorer of a playoff team. And for a lot of the year, he carried a playoff team in his rookie year. Judging him on his body of work this season, he definitely belongs in the same conversation as James Harden and LeBron James. And he has potential to be a great player in the league. I think what he was trying to say here is he belongs in the same conversation as James Harden and LeBron James when it comes to carrying a team, and not necessarily on the same level, same status of player as those two guys right now. But even then, I'd have to disagree with that too. Look, Mitchell deserves a heck of a lot of credit for what he's been doing for the Jazz this year, no doubt about that. But it's a stretch to say that he's carrying the Utah Jazz, especially carrying them on a LeBron James level, because that's disrespectful not only to LeBron, but also to the Utah Jazz as a team. I mean, let's look at some facts here. With Donovan Mitchell, they were a below 500 team, not going to make the playoffs until Rudy Gobert came back. Gobert comes back and all of a sudden it's win, 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 win. Honestly, Rudy Gobert is probably the biggest reason the Jazz are having the season that they're having. He has been phenomenal on the defensive end, the best defender in the NBA when he's played, and is most likely going to win Defensive Player of the Year because of that. And then you have other guys like Ricky Rubio, who has been having a great year for the Jazz. And Joe Ingles, not too many people talk about this guy, but he's one of the best team playing wings in the league. He's also been the best shooter in the league this year too. And then of course there's a coach, Quinn Snyder, who's been doing a fantastic job. So yes, Donovan Mitchell is their leading scorer and one of their primary offensive threat. But this Jazz team is more of an actual team than Donovan Mitchell putting him on his back like LeBron James is doing with the Cleveland Cavaliers. So despite the fact that I do think Mitchell has what it takes to become an MVP level player one day like a James Harden, you gotta pump your brakes a little there, Josh Hart. But that actually does it for all the news from yesterday. So now let's take a quick look at the games from last night. Who would have thought that the Sixers would have one of their best seasons in franchise history already? I knew it would happen eventually with Simmons and Embiid, just didn't think it would be this soon. With their 109-97 win over the Mavericks yesterday, the Sixers have just reached the 50-win mark for the first time since 2001 and have also tied the franchise high with a 14-game winning streak. Like, who really would have thought that this Sixers team right here would have been a 50-win team already? This is insane. Ben Simmons with another great game of 16 points, 9 assists, 7 rebounds, and 4 steals. And low-key, I haven't really talked about him yet, but Philly getting Marco Bellinelli off waivers was huge because that guy has been flat out amazing for Philly off the bench as of late. We all know that Bellinelli works best in certain systems and on winning teams, and he has fit perfectly with Philly. He had 15 points off the bench last night. And the Phoenix Suns have done it. They've officially clinched the worst record in the NBA this season, meaning that they should have the #1 pick in the draft. Their draft lottery luck over recent years, though, might have something to say about that. 117 to 100 the final score in this one. Klay Thompson with 34 points. Speaking of clinching though, while the Suns clinched the worst record in the NBA, the Utah Jazz have just clinched their spot in the NBA playoffs this year. Some player on this Jazz team has to win something. Either Quinn Snyder wins Coach of the Year, Rudy Gobert wins Defensive Player of the Year, something, because they weren't supposed to be here. Never mind the fact that they're actually the 4 seed. And the reason why Josh Hart was praising Mitchell yesterday though was because of how great Mitchell was yesterday, proving that he could be much more than just a scorer, as he had a phenomenal all-around game with 28 points, 9 rebounds, and 8 assists, 112-97 the final score. The Raptors decided to sit DeMar DeRozan and Jonas Valanciunas last night, and of course, you know, they still beat the Magic because it's the Magic, 112-101. The rookie OG Anunoby with his best offensive game yet, scoring 21 points and grabbing 8 rebounds. Why? Just why? What kind of defense were we playing to let the Grizzlies score 130 points on us? Why? Look, our season is already over, so it doesn't really matter, but why Memphis? I swear this has to be karma for all the things I've said about the Grizzlies this season. It has to be, because we lose to every single team that I make jokes about. The Magic, the Grizzlies, the Hawks, all of them except Phoenix. Nobody lose to Phoenix. 4 players on Memphis scored at least 20 points yesterday, led by Marshawn Brooks and his 25 off the bench. This kind of helps to make me feel better about my Pistons losing to the Grizzlies, but then again, the Celtics are going to be in the playoffs at least, so not really, as they fell to the Atlanta Hawks yesterday. Taurean Prince has really elevated his game since the All-Star break. He had 33 points and 8 rebounds and 5 assists last night, and since the All-Star break, he is averaging just under 19 points to go along with 5 rebounds and 4 assists. Look for him to be a candidate for most improved player next year. 112 to 106 the final score in this one. Lastly, the Pacers beat the Hornets, bouncing back after that terrible showing against the Raptors. Oladipo with 27 points, but Domantas Sabonis was doing work off the bench as he had 30 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 steals. 123 to 117 the final score. But Charlotte, would you look at that? Once again, your best player was Malik Monk as he had 22 points and 5 assists. Such a shame that he is just now getting playing time. And that wraps up all the action from last night. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to smack that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on more daily NBA news and highlights. A new game of Sports Q is live tonight. I'll also have the links to that in the description box below. But other than that, remember to vote for the player of the day. But remember, the only players of Team 1 are eligible to win player of the day. And yesterday that player was Russell Westbrook, and his 24 points, 10 assists, 7 rebounds, and 4 steals. Thank you once again for watching. I'll see all of you right back here tomorrow. But until then, I'm out of here.